Along a desolate stretch of Interstate 45 in Texas, between the cities of Houston and Galveston, lies a patch of land that locals refuse to talk about after dark. Over the past 4 decades, the bodies of at least 10 young women and girls have been discovered here. Some were found in drainage ditches, some in the tall grass, some were never identified at all. Law enforcement has investigated. Suspects have been named. And yet, not a single person has ever been convicted for these murders. This is the Texas killing fields. Welcome to Paradigm Exposed, where we go beyond the headlines, dig into the evidence, and ask the questions that no one else is asking. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit subscribe. We drop new cases every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. The area known as the Texas Killing Fields spans roughly 25 miles along Interstate 45, cutting through the Gulf Coast marshlands south of Houston. It's flat, it's isolated, and for decades it has served as a dumping ground for killers who understood something chilling: that in this remote corridor, bodies could go undiscovered for months. The first confirmed victim linked to this area was discovered in the early 1970s. A young woman, unidentified, found in a field just off the highway. Investigators had very little to go on. No witnesses. No forensic technology as we know it today. The case went cold almost immediately. But she would not be the last. Through the 1980s and into the 1990s, more bodies appeared. Young women, mostly teenagers. Many of them had been reported missing from Houston's lower-income neighborhoods, communities where, investigators would later admit, missing persons reports were not always treated with the urgency they deserved. This is a pattern we see time and time again in American true crime. The victims are poor. They are young. They are often from communities of color. And the system, the very system that is supposed to protect them, fails them completely. Let's talk about some of the victims whose stories finally came to light. In 1984, the body of a young woman was found near a dirt road off the 45. She was later identified as Shelley Sykes, just 17 years old. She had last been seen leaving a party in the Houston suburb of League City. She never made it home. Then in 1986, two more girls were found in the same general area. Heidi Fye and Laura Miller, both teenagers, both found within a mile of each other. Investigators suspected the same killer was responsible, but they couldn't prove it. By the early 1990s, local law enforcement was under enormous pressure. Families were demanding answers. The media had started calling the area the killing fields. And yet, the murders kept happening. In 1991, the body of a young woman named Janet Doe, a name given to her because her identity remained unknown for years, was discovered near a drainage ditch. She was later identified through DNA technology as Audrey Lee Cook. She had been missing since 1987, 4 years. Her family had been searching for 4 years. What made these cases particularly disturbing was the signature. Many of the victims showed signs of having been held captive before they were killed. This wasn't impulsive. This was deliberate, organized, the work of someone, or possibly multiple people, who knew the area, who knew how to avoid detection, and who felt completely protected by the isolation of that highway corridor. One name that came up repeatedly was Robert Abel, a former NASA engineer who lived on a property near the killing fields. Families of victims were convinced he was involved. They hired private investigators. They camped outside his home. Abel denied any involvement, and he was never charged. He died in 2004, taking whatever secrets he may have had with him. Another name, William Reese, is currently on death row in Texas for the murder of Sandra Sapos in 1997. Investigators believe Reese may be connected to several of the killing fields cases, but again, no charges have been filed in connection to those deaths. Here's where it gets even darker. A former League City police officer named Tim Miller, whose own daughter was one of the victims, spent decades trying to force the investigation forward. He founded a nonprofit called Texas EquiSearch, which has helped search for thousands of missing people across the country. But Miller also alleged something deeply troubling. He claimed that evidence had been mishandled, that certain leads were never properly followed, that the investigation was plagued by jurisdictional conflicts between multiple agencies, local police, county sheriffs, the Texas Rangers, each one unwilling to fully collaborate with the others. Was it incompetence? corruption, or simply a system that never cared enough about these particular victims to do the work properly? We may never know. As of today, the Texas killing fields remain one of the most chilling unsolved serial crime locations in American history. The identities of some victims are still unknown. The killers, whether one or many, have never been brought to justice. The families of these women and girls have spent decades demanding answers. They deserve more than silence. They deserve the truth. And until that truth comes, cases like this one are exactly why channels like Paradigm Exposed exist. We will keep digging, we will keep asking questions, and we will not let these stories be forgotten. If this video moved you, hit the like button. It helps more people find these stories. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop in the comments. Which unsolved case do you want us to cover next? We read every single one. Until next time, stay questioning. This is Paradigm Exposed.